Hi everyone, this is Tuhin Banik from Thatware, and today we'll be discussing about core web vitals and what are the integral part of that, how to best optimize for that, and some of the important things which one SEO expert should know about that. Now before moving further, let us first discuss what is core web vitals. So basically core web vitals are some set of parameters which have been introduced by Lightspeed and Chrome and Google in total for understanding and measuring some of the important technical aspect for enhancing the good page load speed, good user experience, and also some of the interactivity point. Now you might be thinking like, what is this all about? Now the main thing is that like core web vitals is all about providing a good user experience for a particular website. That means like previously, like any search engine just used to measure like load times, like how much time it have taken to load a particular website. But now since 2018 and 19 onwards, with the new sets of measures of core web vitals, now people can like have more data set study by which one can understand a couple of other ways by which the page load factors, the user experience point, and some of the other points can be rectified and also can be enhanced. Now the three major components of core web vitals, the first one, as you can see from the screen, is LCP, which stands for Largest Contentful Pain. The second one is FID, or Field Input Delay. The third one is CSS, which is commonly known as Cumulative Layout Shift. Now I'll be providing brief about all three of these. The first one, LCP, is all about page load factors, and it's recommended that it should be within 2.5 seconds or lesser. In short, whenever a website loads, the entire full page load should be less than 2.5 seconds in order for Google or search engines to make sure that they are properly within the guided protocols of the LCP guidelines. The second one, FID, is all about understanding the interactivity. Now, interactivity can be measured in various ways. One of the most famous way of measuring that is TTFB, which stands for time to first byte, and it's advisable that it should be kept within 100 milliseconds, but up to a 200 milliseconds is also acceptable. Now the thing is, what is interactivity? Now the thing is, when a website is clicked, like whenever you visit a particular website, let's say example.com, like when a particular website is clicked, the very first instance when there is a handshaking connection between the browser and the server is ticked off green. In that case, this is known as the first interactivity point, or in other words, when your website have interacted with the server for the first time. Now this should be really as low as 100 milliseconds, because a fraction percentage more can be devastating for the users, and this can cause a lot of harm for the user experience. The last one, CSS, or commonly mistaken as cascading style sheet, but in this case we will be discussing about cumulative layout shift. Now cumulative layout shift is a very interesting topic. It is something which actually was introduced for preventing any kind of clickbaits or preventing any kind of spam link clicking, which means that whenever you are clicking on a particular page and there might be some shiftment on the pages. Suppose you are clicking on a particular like URL and you are about to go through any buttons or click any particular links. In that case, sometimes you might see that there is a sudden change in the page screen length or something like that. Now this is what can really cause a bad user experience, and this should be as low as 0.1 pixel, which means that whenever a page loads, the page should be intact and there should not be any shiftment. So these three are the major components which defines the core web vitals. Now we'll be discussing about few of the tools by which you can measure and you can do an audit of your website regarding the core web vitals scores and statistics. So we'll be talking about three important tools in this video. The first one is Chrome User Report Experience, which is also in short known as CRUX, CRUX. The second one is Pagespeed Insights, that can give you a direct report from Lightspeed. The third one is Core Web Vital Statistics, and like there can be lots of tools for that. Like in fact, web.dev is one of the important thing which normally I recommend because that really gives a lot of statistics. But apart from that, there are a few other sites as well, such as website Pagespeed insights.org. That is one of also my recommended advice for measuring your values for the core web vitals. Now the thing is, why an audit is important. Now in order to investigate, in order to fix your core web vitals, it is very important that you first dissect all of the pages of your website and you make a proper diagram, which is known as waterfall, like what are the core web vitals statistics for your website. Now you need to make an internal audit and justify which pages needs a fix and needs to be sent to your developers or your technical SEO team, and which pages is okay to work with. And for this reason, it's very important to measure using tools as explained, and this can give SEOs a clear picture about the current standing point of the core web vital scores. Now we'll be discussing about how to implement and optimize for LCP, FID and CSS. So let us start with LCP. So in order to improve your load time, in other words your largest contentful pain, there are a lot of ways first of all, but some of the common measures is, the first one is you can remove any unwanted CSS or JavaScript, as that might cause an unwanted delay with the loading and the performance of that particular page. The second thing is one can perform a deferring of CSS and JavaScript, which means that unwanted CSS or JavaScript or any CSS or JavaScript which would not make much useful for that particular website can be shifted to the bottom of the pages and can be loaded once the entire website is loaded. So this is known as deferring, which means shifting to the bottom and loading once the entire website is loaded. The last one is minification. So minification basically involves like you can say like just like we are using zip to compress the sizes. So minification is also like a zipping activity for CSS, where all of the code properties of CSS or JavaScript can be aligned together and a lot of spaces or external internal like linkups can be moved as closer as possible, because this would reduce a lot of the bandwidth and hence the time to first byte can reduce, which would eventually reduce the entire page load experience for the user. So these three are some of the recommended guidelines for optimizing the LCP. And if you're using WordPress, there are a lot of plugins. You can use WP Rocket, there is WP Smush for image optimization. You can even manually optimize the images for reducing the bandwidth. You can even discuss with your developer for doing a deferring and minification of all the JSS and the JavaScript. And lastly, you can perform a user report from Chrome developer, and you can remove any unwanted JavaScript which is not at all important for your landing page. So these methods can help you in optimizing your LCP. And last but not the least, always make sure that your server is good, because this really matters a lot. Now we will discuss how to optimize for the FID or the main interactivity. Now 90% of FID can be solved if you can maintain your TTFB, as told, time to first byte, and this can be controlled with the help of reducing your DOM or document object module request. Now there are various of ways to do that. First of all, you need to use a good server for that. Second thing, you need to make sure that there is a content delivery network in place. If not, then there should be a cached delivery network in place. The third thing is that you should make sure that there is no error in JavaScript optimization. You can do deferring, you can minimize the polyfills, but once again, there should not be any effect of JavaScript onto that particular website, because JavaScript can really become an enemy for FID, because this can reduce the interactivity and this can cause a lot of issues as well. So my basic advice is like you can switch to VPS if you are using a traditional server, but if you are restricted on your budget, then you can consider going to any free CDN such as Cloudflare is there. If you are willing to invest some money, then CloudFront is also there from AWS. But once again, CDN and having a good server are the main key solution for having a good FID. Other than that, you need to make sure that your entire JavaScript is well optimized. Now we will discuss about how to optimize for cumulative layout shift. And before beginning on this topic, let me tell you that cumulative layout shift is a visible effect, and this can be mainly resolved or this can be controlled if you have a proper font structure of your website, if you have well balanced resolution of the images with proper dimensions, and there are tons of factors as you can see from the screen. Like for optimizing CLS, the most important factor is that nothing should be out of size, nothing should be outbound in size, and these are the factors which can help to make sure that the CLS is in a good standing point. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this short video regarding how to optimize for core web vitals and some of the takeaways on why this is important and like why this really matters for the SEO. Thank you.